show is brought to you by Safety FM.
We were cut from the same cloth, blood red, leather and black hearts bleeding out at the seams. Led to bite marks and dark thoughts. Pleasure took us to damn far. Pain woke us from the dream. You said you're needing time, but you're needing about our glasses reach the end. Don't even ask me, but I see you again. Well, like it or not, now what I've done is been now picking apart all of the skies that you left.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Yeah, that's who the host is for today. That is for sure. Anyways, how are you? I hope everything is grand inside of your neck of the woods. Because listen, you know, you being grandioso always kind of plays an important factor to what the hell is going on around here. There is no doubt about that. Anyways, today is Tuesday, March the 28th of 2023, day 87th of the year, and only 278 days left to go. So there you go. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Yes, hanging out at Radio Big. There is no doubt about that. So we are doing our thingy as we are hanging out and doing all the fun stuff. So listen, we're going to do all kinds of interesting things today because I felt like yesterday we did some things, but maybe not as interesting as they will be today, if that makes any sense. So I don't know. A lot of stuff coming down the pipe in regards of what we have going on at this station, at the other station. So it kind of makes it some interesting times. And I guess I should start talking about our next event. Our next event that is coming up. So we'll start talking about that too. So hopefully you have plans on coming to the Orlando area because that is exactly where it will be taking place. So listen, I have a funny feeling. Yes, I got a feeling that some tickets will start being available in the month of April for the Conklin Conference that will be taking place on September the 9th through the September the 27th through the 29th. So if you're ready to come hang out in Orlando, I will have some information about that. You can always go to safetyfm.io to find out some more. So we'll get all that stuff moving and grooving for you, just for information purposes. So let's start talking right away because, listen, I have a show that we need to talk about, and I need to tell you about the shit that's trending.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so Earth for All has released their population prediction, and things are changing at Lyft headquarters. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Democrats don't know who they want to run for 2024. We'll talk about that if we get a little swampy today. And Elon Musk's daughter gets a name change, and a duet from Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton is banned from a spring concert at Wisconsin Elementary School. We'll talk a little bit more about that if we get show busy. And then Jeff Goldblum confirms that he will star in Wicked, and John Hamm joins Mean Girl, the musical. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that because that is definitely some interesting stuff. So we talk here about safety in the news and safety, and then we kind of go through the whole aspect of all the things that are going on inside of the worldy. So you don't have to worry about not being informed, because I don't think you'll be misinformed. You'll definitely be informed and then some. So that's what we do around here. If you want to interact with the show, it's an easy process of doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com, and that will get everything moving and grooving for you. So simple process in doing that, because that's what we try to do. Simplification. Yes, it's called simplification as we do everything here. So with that being said, let's get everything moving, and let's start talking right away about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news. Oh, but I guess before I do that, if you want to do the video stuff, safetyfm.com or safety.fm, or you can go to radiobig.fm and click on the section that says visual radio. Don't torture yourself with that.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. Police have ID'd the 3 kids and 3 adults killed by a shooter at a private Christian elementary school in Nashville on Monday. The kids killed at the Covenant Presbyterian School included 2 9-year-olds and 1 8-year-old. One of the adults is the academy's headmistress. The shooter, a transgender Nashville woman armed with 2 assault-style weapons, was shot and killed by police inside the school. The team of police that entered the school are getting praise from the president for their quick response. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is slamming Republicans who want to do away with President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan.
Republicans are showing how callous and uncaring they are by trying to block debt relief.
While speaking on the Senate floor Monday, Schumer accused the GOP of giving tax cuts to the wealthy while denying critical debt relief to Americans who need it most. Republican Senators Bill Cassidy, Joni Ernst, and John Cornyn will introduce a resolution to overturn the debt relief program as soon as this week. The Manhattan grand jury investigating former President Trump reconvened yesterday for the first time in a week. David Pecker, the former publisher of the National Enquirer, testified before the grand jury on Monday. Pecker was allegedly familiar with the so-called catch-and-kill payments that would be used to help squash negative stories about Trump before the 2016 election. The man suing Gwyneth Paltrow over a ski crash says he heard what he calls a blood-curdling scream before he was hit. More from Brian Shook.
Retired optometrist Terry Sanderson, who's suing the actress for $300,000, says he suffered from a concussion and a brain injury and broke 4 ribs. Paltrow testified last week that it was Sanderson who crashed into her back, but Sanderson says he was hit in the shoulder blades and went flying. I'm Brian Shook.
And Alaskans are marking the 59th anniversary of the largest earthquake ever recorded in North America. The Great Alaskan Earthquake of 1964 measured 9.2 on the Richter scale. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Police say they've recovered more weapons from the home of a shooter who killed 6 people in a shooting in a school in Nashville. Humza Yousaf's being confirmed as Scotland's new First Minister on Tuesday. India's opposition parties are intensifying protests against the government after senior leader Rahul Gandhi was disqualified from Parliament, and Japan's urging China to release one of its citizens being held in Beijing as soon as possible.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Former President Trump is making a connection between his New York hush money payment case and elections.
I don't know whether it helps or hurts. I can tell you, in my opinion, it's a new way of cheating on elections. It's called election interference. What they're doing.
In a Fox News interview that aired Monday, Trump noted he doesn't know if the probe helps or hurts his chances of another run at the White House in 2024. He claimed he's leading in the polls and did nothing wrong as it relates to campaign finance laws. The investigation centers around a payment that Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, made to porn star Stormy Daniels in 2016 to cover up an alleged affair. As Trump faces a potential indictment, he said he never had an affair or relationship with Daniels, adding that it's all made up. The White House is threatening to veto a Republican energy package. The legislation seeking to bolster fossil fuels, accelerate infrastructure projects, and do away with the Inflation Reduction Act is expected to come up for a vote in the House this week. In a statement, the White House argued the measure would pad oil and gas company profits and undercut public health and the environment. The White House said President Biden would veto the bill if it made it to his desk. The legislation is unlikely to be taken up in the Democratic-controlled Senate. At least 50 U.S. government officials are suspected or confirmed to have been targeted by commercial spyware overseas. Lisa Taylor has the story.
A senior White House official told reporters that number is expected to grow as investigations continue. The revelation comes as President Biden issued an executive order to prohibit the use of commercial spyware across the federal government that poses a risk to national security and human rights. The move follows the long-running controversy over the misuse of a powerful spyware called Pegasus by foreign governments to hack journalists and dissidents around the world. I'm Lisa Taylor.
And an investigation is underway after a train carrying iron ore derailed in California. It happened Monday in San Bernardino County, where officials say there were no passengers aboard the Union Pacific train. More than 50 train cars, including 2 locomotives, derailed. No injuries or active fires were reported. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, another infiltration moment. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. Yeah, I can't get any lovelier than a Tuesday, damn it. So let's get into it. Let's talk right away about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the shit list, because those are the things that we do around here. So let's start doing it right now. First Citizens Bank will buy the good chunk of Silicon Valley's bank assets, including a $72 billion loan portfolio, which First Citizens bought for $16.5 billion, and $56 billion is remaining in customers' deposits. Another $90 billion in securities will remain at the FDIC receivership. According to the FDIC press release, the government spent about $20 billion to backstop customers' deposits at SVB. The 17 branch location of SVB began operating as First Citizens location on Monday. Yes, on Monday. So what do you think? Do you want to be part of First Citizens if you were part of SVB? Or are you looking at it and going, what in the freaky is going on? Because, I mean, I'm sure there's some questions there for sure. Anyways, advocacy group Earth for All has released a report estimating a trajectory for human population and whether development continues to its current pace of government take draconian steps to control everything. The human population is expected to peak within the next 30 years. At the current pace of economic development, they estimate the world will reach a population of 8.6 billion by the year 2050, then decline to 7 billion by 2100. If the governments around the world implement their reform green energy government spending and blah, 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 the global population peaks in 2040 and then drops to 6 billion by 2100. Either way, sounds like bad news. If you look at it, by Paul Elric, types who spent 60s and 70s fretting over the collapse of the civilization because of too many people on the planet Earth, and it's time to everything to balance out. Listen, I don't write it, I report it. That's the way that it works. So there you go. Take a listen to this. Rideshare company Lyft is getting a corporate shakeup. Co-founder Logan Green and John Zimmer will step aside from day-to-day leadership of the company on April the 17th. David Reicher, who used to be with Amazon head of product, will take the reins of CEO, although Green and Zimmer will stay on the board. Meanwhile, Disney is implementing their first round of layoffs that the company announced last month, beginning with 7,000 employees getting cut from payroll. So a lot of interesting stuff going on. Listen, I have to tell you this because I heard this a few days ago, and I get it. I mean, I get what the guy was saying. I was taking a listen to Dave Ramsey, and he was saying if you are cutting people's jobs for your check to increase by, let's say, for instance, in this case, $1 million, that is a stupid thing to do to let people go, and that you just need to stop it. And I don't understand. So is the things at Disney so bad that 7,000 people need to be cut? Is the overflow of work, all of a sudden you woke up one day and said, shit, we have 7,000 people too many. 7,000 people. Now, let's talk about this because we have to look at it from a different aspect. The people that work at Disney most of the time do something that is specialized. Now, listen, if you are in a theme park and you are a singer in a show, there's not a lot of places that you can go and say, hey, I'm a show singer and I'm an entertainer, and this is what I'm going to go out and do now in the general public. I mean, it's just kind of a weird time when you really start thinking about it.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, if you feel that America isn't the country you grew up in, you're not alone. A Wall Street Journal NORC survey shows that drastic changes in attitudes towards the idea of the themes, and we're a long time in quintessentially American ideals. Take a listen. In the 25 years since the 1998, here are some of the Americans that have shifted their priorities. In 1998, 70% of Americans said that patriotism is very important to them. Today, it's only about 38%. In 1998, 62% of Americans said religious values of any denomination. So there you go. Of any denomination are very important. Today, it's only 39% agree. Having children went from being very important priority at 59% to in the population to 30% in 2023. And over the same time, those who say money is very important to them increased from 31% to 43%. So what do you think? Do you feel that America's not the America of 1998? I mean, I'm just asking the question. Because now my question becomes, for the people that take the survey in 2023, and if you do 25 years later, which you'll be looking at 2048, what will be said at that time? I wonder where my freaking crystal ball's at for I can do that information. Anyways, an analysis of lunar dust returned from Chinese mission in 2020 reveals an abundance of water. Yes, an abundance of water on the moon, except it's suspended in tiny glass beads mixed in all of the dirt. It would take some new technology and a lot of these little beads to make water on the moon, but is it possible? As soon as researchers tell the Associated Press, yes, it will require lots and lots of glass beads. On the other hand, there are lots and lots of beads on the moon. Worth noting, in 2025, manned mission to the moon targets the South Pole, where frozen water is believed to exist and impact craters. So there you go. I guess you have some time to wait to see what the hell's going on. So let's talk about this. Let's go ahead and go into the music charts because it is Tuesday. So we'll talk about what the hell is going on with the top 5 songs according to Apple Music. So take a listen to this. At number 5 is Zawit's Snooze. At number 4 is Zawit's Kill Bill. At number 3 is Morgan Wallen, When Thinking About Me. At number 2, Tootsie with Favorite Song. And at the number 1 spot, Morgan Wallen, Last Night. Now, if you take a look at the other side of the equation, you have to take a look at Spotify. At number 5 is Zaw with Kill Bill. At number 4 is The Weeknd with Ariana Grande, Die For You, the remix. At number 3, Pink Panthers with and Ice Spice with Boys Are Liars Part 2. At number 2, Miley Cyrus with Flowers. And at the number 1 spot, Ed Sheeran with Eyes Closed. So there you go. That's what's going on inside of the world of the music, if you care. So there you go. Some stuff going on as we are talking. Anyways, let's get into the swamp real quick. Only 1 in 4 Democrats want President Joe Biden to run again in 2024, according to Monmouth poll. And it gets worse. A majority of Democrats can't identify the candidate that they prefer if Biden didn't run. Only 13% said that they would back Vice President Kamala Harris for the job. So there you go. And let's continue today with the arrest watch of the grand jury investigating former President Donald Trump. Left for the day on Monday without a decision about an indictment. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there. Anyways, with that being said, 23 minutes past the top of the hour, let's go ahead and bring in some guy that really knows what the hell he's talking about. Not sometimes, but all the time. Let's bring in some John Small and let him tell you about what the hell's going on with the market beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, March 28th, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets started the week on stable footing but could not post substantial gains Monday. The move is partially due to easing fear of a banking crisis, compounded by uncertainty about the PCE data out Friday. Analysts expect core PCE to moderate to about 0.4% month to month, but remain as hot as 4.7% year over year. At this level, the FOMC may need to hike interest rates beyond the recently intended target, and there is a risk that it will come in hotter than expected. With only 2 weeks until the start of the Q2 peak earnings reporting cycle, the market is bracing for what could be a very bad season. The consensus target for Q1 earnings is below -6%, and it could be worse by the end of the season. The details that will move the market are guidance and outlook for the second half of the year. If those take another hit, this market will move one step closer to another major sell-off. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the information right there on what is going on inside of the worldo, because, you have to let us know what the hell is going on. Anyways, here's what I was able to find on my side of the equation. The Dow added about 194 points to close at 32,432 on Monday. The S&P added about 6 points to close at 3,977, and the Nasdaq lost about 55 points to close at 11,768. West Texas Intermediate closed at $72 a barrel, and Brent crude was about $77 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.43 on Monday, which it seems like it's been stuck there for some time. And Bitcoin lost more than 3% on Monday, trading just under $27,000. There was more than 5,900 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Monday, with about 254 cancellations. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for $332 million jackpot, or $174.3 million cash payout. So there you go. If you want to play the game, you have an opportunity to do so, because there's still some time. So let's talk real quick. An independent investigator division of the Maryland Attorney General's office has identified the officers, drivers, and crash victims involved in the weekend police pursuit. Thomas Lester says that attorneys will conduct a thorough investigation about the incident.
They will review the evidence, including body-worn camera, the crash report, witness interviews, and what we'll do is a legal analysis of the actions of the officers.
Officer Bradley Robertson and Mechanism Rosenblum spotted a vehicle suspected in Westmont robbery on West North Avenue Saturday night, but the driver took off and police followed. The suspect later crashed into a parked car at a tree on Rollin Avenue, killing his 74-year-old passenger. She identified as Linda Moss of Westmire, the wife of 58-year-old driver Daniel Moss. Charges are pending. So there you go. That's what's going on over there. Let's continue talking about some other things that are going on. Do we want to get into Detroit? Let's get into Detroit. The abandoned LaChoy factory at west side of Detroit is being torn down. Lori Chandler lives nearby, and she loves the demolition work that's taking place.
I'm glad to see it come down, and we got the school that's up the street. So the babies, you see them coming, they got to walk that way to go back and forth to school. So it's nice to see it come down, because you don't want anything to happen to anyone.
The factory has not been used for years and becomes an illegal dumping ground. The cost to knock down the 100,000 square foot factory is around, $1.6 million. Laurel Chandler is among those who are pleased that the LaJoy factory is in Detroit is being torn down.
It wasn't being used as long as I've been here.
Yeah, it hasn't been used for as long as I've been here. I don't even understand what that means. How long have you been there? Maybe we need to get some more information about what the hell's going on. I'm not going to talk during this hour about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the iHeartRadio Awards. If you want to come out and take a listen to that, we'll talk about that at the top of the hour as we go over to Radio Big exclusively. So there you go. If you want to come and take a listen to that, take a listen to this. This is coming out of Broward County, Florida. A workshop is on tap in Broward as school board members go over sex ed curriculum changes so the district is in compliance with the Parental Rights of Education law, also known as Don't Say Gay. School Board's Vice President Chair Debbie Hickson says that that they're shifting from a comprehensive plan to one focus solely on teaching abstinence, with lessons on the reproductive system, human anatomy, and LGBTQ plus issues taken out.
I think we're not educating our students properly if we're not teaching them all of the parts of what sex education looks like and what's appropriate and inappropriate for touching, and teaching them all the right body parts.
The law bans instructions of sexual orientation or gender identity in grades K through third grade, plus it requires an age-appropriate older in grades. School Board Vice President, as I said, Chair Debbie Hickson calls the move the wrong direction.
If we want to make sure our students are well educated and safe and know right from wrong, I think we have to also have parts of those discussions in school.
Hickson is worried that this will lead to more teen pregnancies.
So if we don't give them the rest of the picture, we're going to go back to when I first was teaching and we didn't have comprehensive sex education. And all the students, there was a large number of students in high school that were pregnant.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. Nashville Mayor John Cooper is thanking local police for keeping what he is calling the city's worst day from becoming an even greater tragedy.
Our very brave officers rushed to gunfire and engaged the shooter, and we're grateful for that because it could have been much worse in a school filled with so many children.
Cooper also expressed appreciation for the call from the president who called Monday's school shooting a tragedy, and he is all too familiar with. The mayor added that he has gained some insight after speaking with mayors from other cities that what they experienced a similar tragedy. 3 elementary school children and 3 adults died in the shooting. Police shot and killed the shooter inside of the school. Nashville mayor says that he agrees with President Biden that these kinds of tragedies can't keep happening.
Gun violence is the number one cause of childhood death, which is just shocking and needs to be changed.
So a lot of stuff going on, definitely as we are talking in Nashville. The U.S. and Mexico are considering an agreement to crack down on the flow of fentanyl and guns over both sides of the border. Mark Mayfield explains.
NBC News reports that the deal includes Mexican authorities cracking down on drug labs and smuggling, while the U.S. does more to stop and track the flow of firearms into Mexico. The agreement also includes sharing access to data about where fentanyl turns up to better track distribution routes. The deal comes after months of discussion between the Biden administration and the Mexican government. Mexico has been plagued by high levels of cartel violence, while the amount of fentanyl coming from Mexico into the U.S. has spiked. More than 70,000 people in the U.S. died from synthetic opioid overdoses in 2021. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that. Take a listen to this. An investigation is underway after a train carrying an iron ore derailed in California. More from Mark Mayfield.
It happened Monday in San Bernardino County, where officials say there were no passengers aboard the Union Pacific train. More than 50 train cars, including 2 locomotives, derailed. 1 locomotive suffered a minor leak. No injuries or active fires were reported. This comes after last month's train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, which released potentially dangerous chemicals into the air. I'm Mark Mayfield.
So a lot of stuff right there as we are talking about this. Because listen, doesn't seem like we've had a lot of heavy focus on what the hell's going on with trains, but all of a sudden now we have a lot of convos about trains. Kind of an interesting twist of events as you start really thinking about it. That is for sure. Anyways, with that being said, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's do this because it is time to do that thing that we do around here.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, you know it's a lot of stuff, a lot of things to talk about, and it seems like it might be time to do a story that is the mainer of time in regards of talking. It is time to talk about the things that happen inside of the workplace. It is time to talk about things that happen inside of your lifetime. It is time to have the discussion of the things that are going on. And listen, I don't know, but I have this weird opportunity in life to get to hang out with some very interesting people, number one. And number two, get to talk about all kinds of weird shit that you would never think that you would start talking about with a stranger. But I get to be that stranger for some, where we get to start talking about some things that are going on. And yesterday I had one of those interesting conversations where we get to start talking about beliefs. And I'm not talking about religious beliefs, and I'm not talking about political beliefs. I'm talking about beliefs of things that are going on inside of your organization and how you are able to move forward. And I was speaking to someone who has a lot of knowledge inside of their workplace. They have been there for years. Matter of fact, if anything, they could even go as far as saying that they could retire today if they wanted to, or really it would have been yesterday because that's when the conversation was occurring. But they did not believe in the core belief systems on how the organization looks and looked at safety at that moment. They had started hearing about the path of human and organizational performance, and they really thought that that would be the better way of doing some of the stuff inside of the organization. Now, listen, I'm not here to be hypercritical or to tell someone this is what you should be doing or not be doing or whatever. Everybody's going to get to where they need to be at different moments in time. There is no doubt about that. So as I take a looky in regard to some of these things, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with being inside of an organization where you might potentially not agree with the beliefs of what's going on inside of the system, but you see the future of potentially things being able to change or acknowledging some of the stuff that should change? Now, listen, I understand it's a very hard time from time to time on being able to be what we would determine to be futuristic, because I am asking you, or you were considering to going, okay, I am going to sit here, help out until I can see things change. Now, listen, if you were in a relationship with someone and you liked some core values and said, okay, I am going to change this person, you would know that the common answer would be get the hell out of that relationship, because your goal should never be to change someone. Just doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you're in a workplace, is it okay to think about that? Is it okay for you to say, I am going to stay here because I want to see how things could potentially, quote unquote, get better? I want to see how things, quote unquote, could change. I mean, it's a very weird spot. I don't want to lie here and say, oh, otherwise. I want you to think about this and go, how does that change occur? So, do you become futuristic and say, let's watch things change? Or do you go, this is not for me? And listen, regardless of what answer you give as you're thinking about this, I don't think there's a right answer. And I definitely don't think that there's a wrong answer, because it's all going to determine on what you want to do. Listen, in the past, we've had conversations where it's like, okay, are you in it for the money or are you in it for the people? And we can have a lot of weird stuff that comes out of these main stories. Well, how do you look at this? What is the core beliefs? I know it's a weird one today, but it's a one that should make you think and go, what is it worth to me? Is it worth doing? Is it worth sticking it out to see if things change? Or is it time to pack up and, in this case, retire, or pack up and find something else? I don't know. Only person that can determine that, well, is you, because you'll definitely know what to do.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly. Less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you going to do? You're going to go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You got to dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
As your safety training is stale and hacky, safety trainers still preaching and warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, here you go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this terrific Tuesday. Yeah, Rated R Safety Show still here. Safety FM, Radio Big.FM. Doing the stuff. This little song right here, this is by Step Rockets. This one's called Enemies. You know how it goes? For some reason, why does it work out that way? You know, you have a lover, you have someone you're interested in, all of a sudden now you're enemies. Yeah, I remember when I was younger, it's like, oh yeah, if we ever break up, I'm never talking to you again. Yeah, maturity level at its highest. Anyways, you can give a little download, a little stream to this song. Step Rockets, that's the band. Enemies, we want to thank them for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Hour number 1 of the Jay Allen of the Morning Show. Yep, you know how it goes around here. We do it all, and we do it live. Yep. Or how did they say that? Live in front of a recorded audience, which I guess who's the audience? Anyways, I have to stop it because if I don't stop it, I will play the whole damn thing because I know how I go with some of these songs because that's just the way my brain works. Anyway, so let's start talking about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help you prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you or your loved ones, and best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org. You can text the word TALK to 988 or call 988. Listen, they're available for you 24/7. So there is no doubt that you should give them a call. You should, at any moment of distress, go ahead and contact them. They are there for you. Listen, this information might be for you at the moment. It could be for somebody else that you know, and you never know when you might need it. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk real quick about what scientists have to say. University of Texas researchers claim to be closer to developing a drug that spurs weight loss without the need for exercise. Yeah, good luck with that. In theory, people could one day chow down whatever they want without added health risk and weight gain. In a test using mice, scientists discovered that the drug curbed weight gain from foods with high sugar and fat, which are prevalent to Western diet, a miracle product that spurs weight loss. Around here, we call that, we call that John Small's cooking. So there you go. Some stuff that is going on right around here as we are talking. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Because always things to talk about. Take a listen to this. Successful failure to launch. Yes, successful failure to launch. We hope this venture works out for them. A brand new gallery dedicated to retail objects that are bombed open this month in New York. The museum Failure collects failed products and services from around the world, offering it called fascinating learning experience into failed innovation. Features are about 160 retail items that didn't catch on, including the much the thing that people love the most, that they wanted it to work and it never did. Yes, that would be Google Glass. Yeah, you remember that? That was that ill-fated DeLorean car. Yeah, that fell into it too. Made famous by Back to the Future movies. What other things come to mind that you expect to see at the museum? How about new Coke? How about the 2003 Nokia Engage smartphone, which, despite of its failure in the U.S., helped jumpstart the Finland's mobile gaming industry? Also on display is Bic for her pens. Yes, Bic for her pens, which was released in 2011, and their only difference between the other writing instruments was that they were sparkly, bright colors. The exhibit runs through May, which is possible to extension into June, and provides it to go over more successfully than what it was the things that were featured inside. I mean, that would be kind of the cool portion there. And name some things that failed products. How about Crystal Pepsi, the Nintendo Power Glove? What about grape flavored potato chips? In Museum of Failure? Hey, that's what I call my resume.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm just calling some things out there. Just calling some things out there because you never know. You never know what's out there. Anyway, so let's talk about this. This is some good news. A 13-year-old girl from Pico Rivera is safe and back home after she went missing. The family was thanking everyone who helped find her. Take a listen to this.
Even people who did not know her, people from, Norwalk and other cities, other states that were, sharing the post. So, and people who were looking for her without knowing nothing of her, we're just grateful and thankful.
The 13-year-old left her house on Wednesday night, and surveillance footage showed that Tejeda at a convenience store nearby. Flyers were posted of Tejeda, which was ultimately led to her being spotted by a witness and who called 911. She was found a few miles from her house on Sunday afternoon at a man's house. He was arrested and booked for an unrelated charge. Authorities haven't shared how Tejeda came in contact with the man. So there you go. That happened Wednesday to Sunday. So a lot of stuff going on there. I don't know about this, but take a listen to this. This is coming out of Nashville, and we kind of know that we've heard some things, but this is what police have a theory about the shooter. Police have a theory behind the Nashville school shooter. Take a listen.
Yes, from our investigations tell us that she was a former student at the school.
The shooter has been identified as 28-year-old transgender female. The Nashville police chief said that that she had maps of the Covenant Presbyterian School and had been conducting surveillance prior to the shooting. Investigators are going through her home and interviewing her father. The chief says that he is not ready yet to discuss the theory. Nashville Mayor John Cooper reflects on the deadly shooting.
Now I am overwhelmed at the thought of the loss of these families, of the future lost by these children and their families.
I mean, it's just a terrible tragedy, but it seems like we talk about terrible tragedies related to some of this stuff quite more often than it is necessary. I don't know what the fix is, and I'm sure that still a lot of us have no clue. Take a listen to this. Denver police say that a suspect is in custody following a deadly hit and run.
Stop this nonsense of
Stop this nonsense of what? Apparently he doesn't want to do anything.
This nonsense of
Well, I guess that's all he wants to do. That's Manuel Martinez, victim's brother-in-law. Star Martinez was hit and killed on Friday evening in an intersection of North Federal Boulevard and West 14th Avenue near Empower Field, Mile High. Officers located and arrested Francisco Duenas Colmeras on Sunday in Lakewood. He faces charges for leaving the scene of a crash, resulting in a death. So a lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. Take a listen to this coming out of Colorado as well. A month-long investigation to Colorado Springs ended in a drug bust on Friday. I guess it does not want to play. It does not want to play yay with me in regards of what is going on there. So I guess we will not play those because I love when the system goes kaput, because when it does, that means it cannot play. It cannot move. Anyways, let's get into some other stuff. It is 52 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's bring some John Smalls inside of here and let him tell you about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Joe. Shiv Kira said, "Your positive action combined with positive thinking results in success." I like that. If you're looking for ways to be successful, maybe take some advice from Shiv. Combine positive actions with positive thinking. I'm pretty sure negative actions or negative thoughts will probably not aid you on your path to success. We may all know someone who's not doing well in whatever they're trying to achieve, and it's probably partially based on their own attitude. When somebody is negative, they bring everyone around them down. Don't do that. Instead, be the one who brightens everyone's day. If you do that, they'll actually look forward to your visits, even if you're there to sell them something. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AwesomeOrgan.com. Have you ever wondered why it can be so difficult to change our habits? There are numerous reasons from a neuroscientific standpoint. One of them is that your brain actually rewards you every time you perform a habit, and it's all thanks to that feel-good hormone dopamine. It explains the satisfaction you feel after completing pleasurable activities, but it's also responsible for forming your habits in the process, enhancing the reward for certain actions without your awareness. To create a change in your habits, it's important to become aware of what is causing you to seek that reward in the first place. Existing research suggests we can tackle these problems by changing our sleep pattern, exercise, and stress levels. Meditation and yoga can be a great place to start. They help to decrease stress and increase willpower and overall brain health. For this and more information on wellness, please visit alessamorgan.com.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 54 minutes past the top of the hour. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm. If you want to come and hang out with me, you're more than welcome on doing that. If not, you can stay out here and hang out on Safety FM and take a listen to what Sheldon Primus has to say. Because, it's important what the man has to say. Because he is doing the Safety Consultant Show. He shows you the business on how to become a safety consultant, so you don't have to worry about that. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2009, the first cases of H1N1 swine flu are reported in the U.S. The WHO would eventually classify the outbreak as a pandemic. Over 284,000 people would die from the virus. That happened back in 2009. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today, because that's going to be important. Lacey Turner turns 35. Jonathan Voss Ness turns 36. Lady Gaga turns 37. Julia Stiles, yes, that Julia Stiles, she turns 42 today. Shanna Moakley turns 48. Yes, that's Shanna Moakley. Kate Gosselin turns 48. Yes, 48. Vince Vaughn turns 53. Cheryl Salt James from Salt and Pepper turns 57. Reba McEntire turns 68. And Ricky Berry, yes, Ricky Berry, turned 79 today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you. It's National Something on a Stick Day. National Something on a Stick. Don't put your boss on there. That your boss is not on a stick. Respect Your Cat Day. National Black Forest Day. And National Weed Appreciation Day. Hold on, I thought that happened on 420. Or are we talking about like other kind of weed? I'm so confused. I probably shouldn't say those things out loud, right? What?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about there. So let's continue. Let's talk about some whack facts real quick. People are capable of making more than 1,000 different facial expressions. Apparently, my kids know how to do every single one of them. Contrary to popular belief, there are no wild tigers in Africa. They are only found in Asia. The first baseball caps were made of straw. Putting your phone in airplane mode will stop ads from ads while playing games. Sweden has a Charles VII, but no Charles 1 to 6. There you go. The state vegetable of Oklahoma is watermelon, despite the fact that it's a fruit. That should tell you a lot if you really start thinking about that. That's for sure. Anyways, if you need some scoops of BS, a naked man in Louisiana was arrested and charged with a slew of crimes after leading police on a wild goose chase. Wait, naked man driving? Where did he keep his license? I mean, there's something to think about. NFL teams have proposed 17 rule changes, including expanding the coaches' challenge system and the 4th and 20th onside kick. Yes, 4th and 20th onside kick. Meanwhile, manslaughter, drug use, dogfighting, and assault is still okay. The National Balloon Classic has been announced for July the 28th through August the 5th in Indiana. The headliner, once again, is Air Supply. UPS has started by two teenagers with one bicycle and borrowed $100 from a friend, and they still run the company like two teenagers on one bicycle who borrowed $100 from a friend. A survey found that 1 in 4 North American women have never been married. Sadly, my wife isn't one of them. So there you go. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, I got one for you. Good advice is something that someone gives you when you're too old and set bad examples. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What to you is the most annoying noise? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. If you're average, you'll have 24.5 of these in your lifetime. What is it? Pets. That's it, pets. So there you go. Thank you for hanging out with me. I do appreciate the time on this terrific Tuesday. Thanks for doing the things that you do, because without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. Like I said, top of the hour, RadioBig.fm if you want to come and hang out. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Hard work compounds like interest. The earlier you do it, the more time you'll have for the benefits to pay off. So there you go. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.